Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's video. It's been a while since I released a video, so we're back. It's been a busy couple months. Today what I'm working on is a school assignment or a boot camp assignment with Rossdraws. I'm actually doing a few of his classes, and so this month's or this week's assignment is to do a master copy of a contemporary master. So I chose to do another Ryen Meinerding Meinerding painting. And so this is what it is. It's a Spider-Man with Iron Man in the background. But what I'm going to focus on today is the gesture of Spidey to make him seem flexible and have motion. But also, mostly, I'm going to be focusing on the background, the trees, and blending the ground and the concrete and the grass to make it look uniform. This is going to be a two-part video. So far I've drawn for 3 hours, and I've sped this up to about an 8 or 9 minute video. So you're going to see the first 3 hours, and on this one you'll see me put in Spidey, put in Iron Man, and then also do the background and focus on the trees and the houses. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll explain to you what I'm doing. Alright, so here we go. This is going really fast, so I'm going to take a pause right here. And what I'm doing is I'm picking the colors that I need. I'm not using the color picker on the photo because we were asked to eyeball it, and to train our eyes. It's not necessarily, to get, it is getting harder, but the idea here is you're training your eye, you're training your mind, and you're training your eye picker to pick the right colors. So what I'm doing on the right in the palette is picking some colors that I think that I'm going to need. The red and blue of his costume, the light orange yellow of the background, the dark green of the trees. I'm putting black in there, and white is just going to be the color of the paper. And I think I just add a brown too. I just pick a random brown. But then what you're going to see me do, and we'll fast forward here real quick. What you're going to see me do is now I picked my colors, and now what I'm doing is going into the photo, seeing how close I got, how close I was able to pick. And overall, I did pretty well. The colors in the painting are actually are more muted than what I picked. I picked something that they were more saturated. Saturated means they're stronger. It's closer to saturated would be like the red crayon, like just straight up red. That's pure red. And less saturated means that you're making it less of a red and more dingy, like grayed out. If you look at the palette on the right hand side, that's like red is on the extreme right, and as you go to the left, that's getting less saturated. You're getting less of that true color. So what I'm doing here is I've picked the colors that I wanted, and now I'm comparing them to the actual colors, and I'm just a little bit off. It's no big deal. I'm kind of in the ballpark, and you'll see throughout the painting that I am constantly picking the colors first that I want, and then I'll go to the painting itself and then test to see how close I was able to choose a color. So let's continue on. Yeah, so I saw that, and I was less I was just a little off, so I erased it, and now I picked some less muted colors. Now I'm just going in, and this is going really fast. I'm going in and just putting shapes in, the road, the building, not even shapes, just the background color of the whole thing. Actually, I honestly, now looking at this, I should have did that yellow throughout the whole background, because that's kind of like it's a afternoon, and it's like golden hour, and gold is throughout, so I should have just made that yellow the whole background. The reason I went really small is because I'm just looking at shapes. I'm not trying to draw the trees yet. I just wanted shapes, so I put it really small to it's kind of like squinting your eyes. Now here I'm just drawing Spidey really quick. I think drawing him probably just took a couple minutes, but then you paint the painting part. It takes a while because you're constantly changing things around. So yeah, I'm just drawing that in. I'm drawing in shell head here real quick, putting in a whoosh and a pew pew, and Iron Man's finished. That's it. There we go. And so now I'm painting in Spider-Man. Here, what I'm doing with Spider-Man, the goal here in this master copy, it's not to do a full-on pixel by pixel copy. With Spider-Man, all I'm worried about is how Ryen was able to make his body just, it looks fluid, it looks in motion, and it looks round. It's a 2D, it only has length and height, but it looks 3D. It looks like there's form there. It looks like it's solid. So I'm trying to figure that out. That's all I want to do. I don't need to draw the webbing on his costume. I don't need to draw the spider. I don't need to draw his eyes. All I'm trying to figure out is, how did he make him look like a cylinder? How does he look 3D? So that's all I need to figure out. And when you're doing a master copy, honestly, and I'll link it up in at the top of the screen, but I talk about this in my other master copy video. You could choose to just, all you want to do is that lower left hand corner house and tree. You're just trying to figure out, well, how did he do that? That could be your master copy, because honestly, this painting probably took him hours, like 10, 20, maybe even 30 hours. It could have taken him a long time. It'll definitely take me triple that. So I can't copy the whole thing. So yeah, you choose what you're trying to copy. And here I'm just trying to get his form down, and now I'm done with that, and I'm going to focus on the background. On the background, as you can see, you're seeing all the pen marks, like the back and forths, and it doesn't look smooth. It doesn't look spray painted or smooth. So that's one thing I'm trying to work on here, is how to get a smooth looking painterly illustration or concept art or digital painting. That's one thing I'm trying to do, and not have it look so like marks are all over the place. So now I'm working on the house in the lower left, and just trying to get that roof on, just figuring out how it's not just one color of gray. If you look at Ryen's drawing, at that roof on the lower right, it has some blue in it, and it goes from blue to gray, and it's tough. And now let's see what else we're doing. So now I'm changing his arm around, because it wasn't this was one of the things that I was seeing, like, why isn't he round? Why isn't he like in 3D? One, the arm was incorrect, and I think I'll fix that up. I'll fix that right shoulder, our left, his right, in a little while. That's also making it not look as 3D. His shoulder kind of pops up. So now I'm working back on the houses, doing the chimneys. I'm trying to get the trees now, and this is where I'm just messing around. So this is where, and I'm going to pause it here. This is where, what do I want to say? So I don't understand really how he's doing trees, and he's using a texture brush. I don't need his, a lot of times people ask, like, what brush are you using? You don't need the exact brush. It's fine. You can just, you can fake it. But there's a way to do, he's not putting a lot of detail, but there's a way to do this tree. You want to put the form. There's a light side, there's a shadow side, and it goes from light to dark, and you want to express that in color. Normally, if it was a black and white photo, you would express that in shades of gray. You would go, so that the top of the tree wouldn't be white, it would be a light gray, and it's going to go to a dark gray, to almost black. So it's the same thing with colors. You want to choose a light muted color because it's in the background, and then it needs to transition to a dark muted color, to that dark green at the back of the tree, and then to a dark deep black, blue, green. That's going to be the shade, and you need all those different values to really define the shape of that tree. So, and that's the tough part, is when I first started doing this, I just started throwing down colors and shapes, and I wasn't really thinking about form. I was just thinking about the brush. So what you want to do is think about form. That's what's going to make the tree look like the tree, and the brush that you choose, that's just the frosting on the top, or the cherry on the top. You can get any brush and just throw some texture on it, and you're fine. What you want to get is that overall form, and that's what I'm trying to get. So we'll keep going here. So I'm trying to figure out which brush there I wanted to use. I finally figured the one I wanted, but now with Spidey, he still doesn't look like he's 3D. So I'm just adding some darks to like make kind of make him turn. Now I'm adding another house, and again, if I'm talking fast, I sped this up really quick because this is a 3-hour drawing, and I don't think you want to sit there for 3 hours. So yeah, so now I'm just working on the trees, trying to get the shapes. I'm just throwing in colors, just overall trying to get the dirty green shape, that dirty yellow shape, just trying to get those shapes. I'm not worried about super details. Now I'm getting that dirty brown yellow, whatever that is, up in the upper right, and just going back and forth. And now getting the highlights of on the right side, throwing in some darks because it kind of needs to recede. I need some depth in there, and those darks are going to get you that. And now I'm just working on the background behind Spidey's head, and just putting those buildings in and just trying to understand how he did that. So now here I want to work on that tree, so I'm just zooming in to get a better color. You can see they're really not the same, and here I'm still trying to figure out brushes, and then I finally decide to go back to the vine one. I feel like I'm doing well with that. I don't know what's happening here, why it's not going well, but I'll find out in a little while that I need that dark. I need a dark green, almost black, to like really make it pop out, that tree. So yeah, but now I'm just going back, working on the house back there. Another thing, that the reason why I wanted to do this master copy is I'm trying to figure out how to paint at atmospheric perspective, and that's what is close to you is going to be saturated, and what's furthest away from you is going to be desaturated. But it's like, well, how does he do it? How does he? Yeah, it's desaturated, but if you look at his painting, it looks like a sunburst. It looks like golden hour. It looks like there's a sunset happening behind them. So it's like, how does he do that? I would say 98% of it, 99% of it is paint stuff, and then maybe at the very end he's throwing some effects on there to like blur some stuff out. That's my guess. So here, still I'm just going back and forth to Spidey. I don't like his head, so I'm just, I don't like the shape of it, and I'm like, okay, well, let me at least get the right shape. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me draw them this way. It'll be easier. And that's another thing. Don't fight the way you draw. What speeds up your drawing is if you put it in a way that you can draw it easy. Don't force yourself to draw at a 45-degree angle if you need to draw if you need to have the paper straight in front of you. So here I finally figured out, I threw down that really dark shade on the tree, and that's what made the tree pop out. So that helped, and now I am just figuring out, some midtones, and see, I'm throwing that dark down again, and that's what I realized, that's what was going to make the tree pop out, and that really helped out. And I'm doing that to this area as well, and now I'm going back and adding some texture to the top, what I feel. But then there's a point here, and I'm going to pause it because, again, this is going super quick. Even though I'm adding the texture to the top of that tree, I still feel like it doesn't look right. Like, it looks too textury. It looks too poppy. And so what I find out is that I don't know what he's doing because I've never talked to him, but in order for me to mimic what he's doing, I think what he's doing is he's using a regular solid brush, not a straight up round hard brush. It's probably like an opacity brush that, it has a light opacity to it, and you build up shades on it. But it's just a regular brush. He draws the shape of it, and then he draws the shape of it in a midtone, puts in his darks, puts in some lights, and gets the overall good shape of it. And then I think what he does is I'm not saying at the very end of his drawing, but when he's happy with that shape, I think what he's doing is he's adding those texture pieces towards the end of when he's working on a tree. Now, again, I don't know his exact process. I'm not saying that, okay, what Ryen Meinerding does is he works on his trees and this is how he does them. I'm guessing what he does. And I found that what I was just using the charcoal brush, and it was just textury, and it was just all this texture, and it just didn't look right. So I think what he does is he uses a solid brush, that doesn't have texture, gets the correct shape, gets the shape he wants, gets the correct form to make it turn, go from dark to light, or from that dark green to a dirty green yellow, to a dirty yellow orange, into that light yellow. I think he gets that change happening, and then at the end he'll add some, as Ross says, he'll make it juicy, or he'll add some texture to it. That's my guess, because I found once I started doing that, once I started melding the texture of the charcoal brush to the actual tree, when I used the regular brush and I started melding it and turning the form, I found that it started going better. It started looking better. So let's keep going, and I think the video is almost going to be wrapped up in the next 30 seconds or something. Yeah, so I'm just working on the trees, and I found that, and I'm going about just kind of using a regular brush and just dabbing around and melting the texture into the trees to make them look better, and I'm liking that, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm just going around to all the trees that I can. Now I'm working on Spidey. Still, I don't like the form, and I think what I'm going to do on the next video is I'll work more on Spidey to try to get that form right, because it still doesn't look like Ryan's looks soft, mine doesn't look soft. And the key word is soft, and what I realized is I should use the soft brush. And as I started using the soft brush, I started getting more of the results that I wanted. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to work on that in the next drawing or the next session. So yeah, that's it for now, guys and gals. So if this is a video that you like, definitely comment and let me know. And if you like it, give it a like, and give it that thumbs up, and definitely subscribe. And we'll be back next week with another video on part 2 of this, where I'm just finishing up Spidey. And again, this is just a master copy. It's not going to be super detailed and looking finished. It's just learning some stuff. So hope you guys like that, and I'll see you in the next one.